Hello, class, and welcome to our online video. How are you doing at home? I'm sorry we cannot meet this week, but let's do this online class together. Today's class is going to be about role models. Role models. Can you describe a role model in English? What is the difference between good and bad role models? And who are some role models in your life? Let's talk about them today. So first, in our lesson today, we will talk about what's a role model. We will review the vocabulary and definitions of role model. We will also learn the phrasal verb look up to. Have you heard of this before? What does it mean, look up to? Also, we will talk about good and bad role models. Some role models are good, some are bad. And we will talk about the vocabulary to describe the qualities to describe good and not so good people. And finally, practice. I'm curious, who are popular role models in your life and why? So let's begin. First, role model. What is a role model in English? Now, before I move the heart, think. If I asked you, what's a role model? Could you tell me in English? Think for a moment. What is a role model? Well, my definition of a role model is a person or thing who we admire, respect, and look up to. Often, people want to copy their role models' behaviors and lifestyle. Role models can have a lot of influence and control over people's ideas. So it's important to choose role models wisely. So a role model is a person or thing who we admire and respect. Who are our role models in life? Who are the people we look up to? I love this picture. It says, "We are all Wonder Woman," and it shows many different people. Wonder Woman is an example of a role model. And why is it important to show different people as role models and not just one person? And again, there can be good and bad role models, and role models can have a lot of influence and control over what people think, people's ideas. So it's important to choose role models wisely. So I mentioned that role models can be a person or thing. Well, that's because role models are not always real people. Fictional characters can also be role models, right? Who is this? Tony Stark in Iron Man is not a real person. He's a fictional character in a movie, but he is a role model for many boys and even men in the world. And also Disney princesses. Like this is Elsa, right? From Frozen. She is not a real person. She is a fictional character, but she is a role model for many people as well. Do you think these two people are good or bad role models? Maybe they can be a little of both. Another example is when I was a child, a very popular TV show was called Sesame Street. And in Sesame Street, there were these characters and animals. Maybe you know Elmo. He is probably the most popular. Well, these are definitely not real people, but they were role models for millions of children growing up. They taught me my ABCs and how to be a good person. So remember, role models can be many different things. They can be real people like your mom, dad, family, siblings, teachers, friends, actors. They can also be not real. They can be book characters. Um, they can be TV show characters. They can be, uh, many different things. They can be animals. Sometimes we see internet animals and we see them as being role models or something. So it can be many different things. So again, a role model is a person or thing who we admire, respect, and look up to. To admire someone is to look at someone or something with amazement, delight, and approval. I admire her because I think she is brave. When you look at someone and go, wow, you are admiring them. Who is someone you admire? You can also admire things. So you can admire a painting or a work of art as well. Respect. Respect is a type of honor. Respect is to judge someone positively because of their actions. I respect him because he never lies. What is something someone can do that makes you respect them? Respect. And finally, let's talk about look up to. Look up to is a phrasal verb. Maybe you know this one. You can think of it literally. A person is looking up to someone. To look up to is to view someone as an example of how to live a good life and be a good person. A short definition is to admire and respect someone, as we said before. So this is kind of a cute picture showing a good example of looking up to or look up to. This little girl wants to be a ballerina and she's looking up to a real life ballerina and viewing her as someone as a good example. I want to be like you. Okay. Here is an example of look up to in a sentence. Many children look up to their parents and want to be exactly like them. But as they grow older, they begin to develop their own identities and find other role models. So when you are young, you look up to your parents. Maybe you want to be exactly like them. But of course, as we grow older, we begin to find other role models. We still maybe like our parents, hopefully, but we find other role models in our life. Now, let's talk about how people can be good and bad role models. You can look up to someone as a role model, but maybe they are a bad example of how to be a good person. So, what are some qualities we can use to describe good role models and bad role models? Of course, good people we know are nice, friendly, considerate. Bad people are angry, rude, impolite. But let's look at some other words we can use to describe good and bad role models. Here are some characteristics of good role models. Usually, when we are talking about good people and good role models, we think they are unselfish, brave, generous, humble, trustworthy, honest, hardworking, caring, helpful, well spoken, thoughtful, dependable, talented, smart, wise, creative. What are other good characteristics you can think to describe good role models? There's many of them. Can you write 3 down? Okay. Now, so these are words to describe good people and good qualities or characteristics. Now, let's look at their opposites. Let's look at characteristics of bad role models. So, if you look closely, these words are the opposites of these words. So, a good role model is unselfish. Maybe a bad role model is selfish, right? Maybe a good role model is trustworthy and honest. So a bad role model would be dishonest and a liar. Do you see how they are opposites? So if some of these words you don't know that well, you can compare them, you can compare them to each other. Okay, now let's talk about the characteristics of bad role models. Bad role models can be selfish, cowardly, greedy, arrogant. They can be a liar or dishonest, lazy, inconsiderate, unhelpful, callous, flippant, inarticulate, flippant, inarticulate, shallow, unreliable, overrated, foolish, dense, destructive. What are 3 other characteristics you can name to describe bad role models? How are they bad role models? Again, let me say these 2 one more time. Flippant, flippant, inarticulate, inarticulate, inarticulate. It means they can't talk very well. So, these are some characteristics to describe good and bad role models. Do you know all of the words? If there are any words you do not know, please research them. Okay, so now that we know how to describe good and bad role models, I want to tell you about one of my role models. Her name is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She is an English actress, writer, and producer. I think she is a good role model. I admire her because I think she is very smart and creative. Through her award-winning dramas and performances, she has bravely created new female characters with complex personalities. From watching interviews, I also think she is an honest person. She is always humble about her work, and her answers are very thoughtful. Finally, I think she is very funny. So I really like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I really like film, so I respect her and what she is doing as an actress, writer, and producer. But because my idea that she is a good role model is only my opinion. Maybe someone can think she is a bad role model. The same person can be a good and bad role model depending on a person's opinion, right? So if I thought she was a bad role model, maybe this is what I would say, using the words, the characteristics that we learned. I don't think she is a positive role model because I think she is arrogant. Her talent is overrated, and the characters she has created are not good examples of women. In her interviews, I think she is flippant and disrespects the hosts. Also, I think she tries too hard to be funny. I think she likes being popular, so she is selfish and takes all the praise for her work. And takes all the praise for her work. That means she says she did all of the work all of the time. So here are two examples of how you can use these good and bad characteristics to describe how a person is a good or bad role model. So with that said, now let's practice. It's your turn. I'm really curious about your role models. So, for homework, can you answer these 4 questions about role models? Please write your answers and bring them to our next class. We will use your homework in class, so please don't forget. So there are 4 questions. I know it looks like a lot, but let's review them. Question 1. What are common categories of role models? Or, what groups of people or things are often role models? Here's an example. Common categories of role models are often actors, actresses, siblings, teachers, and maybe webtoon characters? I don't know. You tell me. I think there are a lot of different groups of people and things that are role models. So tell me what you can think of. Number 2, who was a popular role model when you were in elementary school? Please write a list of their good qualities. So, for example, a popular role model when I was in elementary school was Kermit the Frog. Do you know Kermit? Kermit the Frog was a character on the TV show called Sesame Street. So please tell me a little about your role model because maybe I don't know them. He was a green frog puppet with a funny voice that all kids liked. Some of his good qualities were he was caring, honest, dependable, helpful, and friendly. So please make a list of their good qualities and what they taught you when you were young. Number 3. Now I'm also curious. Who is a popular role model for high schoolers now? Who is a popular role model for you today and for people your age? Now, another question is, are they a good or bad role model? Why? I'm curious who are some good role models and who are some bad role models and what your opinion is. For example, I think Taylor Swift is a very popular role model for high schoolers in America. She is an American singer and songwriter. I think she is a good role model because she is hardworking, thoughtful, and well spoken. If you want to use this sentence structure in your homework, you can. I think blank, maybe she, he, it, is a good or bad role model because he, she, it is are, maybe they too, blank, blank, blank. And these are good or bad qualities. So I think he is a bad role model because he is selfish, mean, irresponsible, right? So please tell me, who are some popular role models in high school? Um, that high schoolers like today? And are they good or bad? And finally, number 4. Remember to write your answers and bring them to class. Who is one of your role models today? Why do you respect and admire them? Please tell me their name. Who are they? What do they do? Again, maybe I don't know them. Talk about their good qualities and why you look up to them. So that's homework question number 4. Here are the 4 questions one more time. Remember to bring your answers to our next class. Number 1. What are common categories of role models? Or what groups of people or things are often role models? Number 2. Who was a popular role model when you were in elementary school? Write a list of their good qualities. Number 3. Who is a popular role model for high schoolers now? Are they a good or bad role model? And why? And finally, number 4. Who is one of your role models today? And what do you like about them? Why do you respect them and admire them? Okay, I'm really excited to learn your answers from the homework. If you have any questions, let us know. Okay, class, that's all for today. I will see you next time. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye.